Hello and welcome to the Holy Rivals Show. I'm your
Welcome on.
host, Nathan Bomber Brown, and I've got my partner with me, Wild Ute.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Again, all that energy. It's nice to hear that from you, Ute. So today what we're going to start in and basically what we're going to be doing is this is all about you guys. We want to do call-ins. We're going to start off with some tweets and it'll just be really feedback. We want to have you guys tell us, well, I'll let Philip I'll let him explain it to you in just a second. But I wanted to do one announcement before we jumped right in. We have now made it so that we can take subscribers. So this is our main page, and if you'll notice here, right on this picture, we see this join button. It's a $9.99 a month charge, but it makes it so that all of your notes are the very first ones we read. So we're getting to a point now where we're getting hundreds of comments a show, and it's really hard to see through them. So you're welcome to continue to do super chats, or you don't have to pay anything. But if you want your note to be prioritized, you just go to our website on YouTube and just hit join, and your notes and everything else will be highlighted. There's a couple of special icons that are tied to those messages, and we are hoping that that makes it so more people can get their opinions noticed. All right. And if you have questions about that, I usually do a reader at the bottom of the screen, or if you have questions, just ask us and I can explain how to do that. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Wild U because he has this special show for us today.
Yeah, we've got a special show today. Before we get into this bomber, though, the crazy tweets that we're going to talk about, and we're going to have a game too that goes along with it that everyone can play. I was hoping to kind of finalize some thoughts on San Diego State. We talked about San Diego State on the Big 12 Mafia show yesterday, and some final thoughts with that. And really, what I want to get around to this time is what you think this has to do with. Is this good for the Big 12 or the Pac 12, the San Diego State news? I don't think we landed there yesterday quite, but I want to know your thoughts. If this extension for San Diego State, if it happens, is that good news for the Pac or the Big 12?
Do you want me to start showing some pictures, or what do you want me to do next?
Yeah, let's just talk about the San Diego State.
Oh, you're asking me a question. I apologize. In my opinion, San Diego State's in limbo. I don't know why they do what they did. I said this last night. In my opinion, I know you think it's ballsy. In my opinion, it's reckless.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a lot on people's handshakes and oral commitments. We all know how that's worked out for the Pac-12 so far, and I don't know why San Diego State would put themselves in that position of weakness. But at the end of the day, if they feel like they have a deal and they're going to get it once the media deal is done, so much the better. But I don't think, in my opinion, the Mountain West isn't going to extend them. They're not going to give them an extra 30 days to sign, to make their declaration. And if they don't do something by June 30th, they're going to pay $17 million more to leave.
I see it as really good news for the Pac. The fact that they're willing to take these steps, I think that the Pac, obviously, they heard something from George K. And they
Right.
feel comfortable enough to try to take this risk. So to me, it's really good news for the Pac, the fact that they play this game, because the Pac needs San Diego State 100%. And if San Diego State was off the board, the Pac would be in big trouble because of the SoCal recruiting grounds, geography, etc.
Right.
And so I think that really is very, very good news for the Pac, the fact that they're even squawking about this and talking about it too.
Well, I guess we'll find out relatively soon here, right? There's only a couple weeks left in this month, and we'll sort of see where we end up in the near future.
Yep. Yep. Okay, let's go into this game here. That we're gonna go this the crazy tweet game. So Bomber hasn't really seen a lot of these tweets.
I've only seen this first one. I haven't seen any of the others.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do today. So over the last week, just like usual, we see like some pretty wild stuff on Twitter, and I always get some laughs, some interesting stuff, some crazy stuff, shade. So a lot of stuff's going on in the social media world. Really entertaining stuff, honestly. So I was looking around the landscape for the last week. I saw 20 to 22 tweets that I thought were kind of fun. or has something to offer us and everything. So we're going to play a game, and it's the crazy tweet game. And how it works is we're going to go through a criteria of tweet, and we've got a weird criteria, we've got a funny criteria, a kudos criteria, clever criteria, a shade criteria. And we're going to rank those tweets. So everybody that's listening right now, we're going to take a look at your comments here. And this is our ranking game for all of us. I want to see what people are saying. We love you to call in too. So Bomber, if you want to provide the call-in information, so folks
Sure.
can jump on the pine, talk about this or anything else related. But I want to see what people are going to rank these tweets and stuff, because some of them are a little off the wall.
Wild Ute's giving us all homework, so let's see how this goes.
So your homework is to put a 1 through a 10 ranking on the quality of the tweet. That's your homework. Just 1 through 10 in the comments here. So, I mean, I wish that I could do the same thing. I don't think I can make any comments right now in the chat or anything, but I'll just have to speak them. So we're going to go to area 1, weird tweets seen on Twitter within the last week here. So Bomber.
All right. Yeah. A couple things. We want to leave it open. There are announcements for people that have other comments that don't relate just to the tweets.
Right.
So this isn't all about the game. It's also about answering your questions. Like Blake puts down in here about what happened with Bob Huggins overnight. Oh, yeah. So we'll want to bring those in as well. But yeah, we can dance back and forth between these tweets and then notes from the two people that are watching. I'm going to post that link to if you want to join the show. I've just put that in the comments. We are limiting calls to 3 to 4 minutes, just so we can get as many people involved as possible. But that's kind of where we're going to be. Okay, so you want to start with this one? Go ahead.
So here, let's go ahead here. So I'm going to pull this up here. So okay, so here's a little. This is a funny tweet that I saw here. This is from an Oregon fan right here, throwing some shade at their Washington Huskies here. So as you can read it, this is how Washington paid for the trip to the Alamo Bowl. So throwing some shade, throwing some funniness out there and stuff. This is from Skoducky out in Oregon country and stuff. So anyway, we're going to start with this one. So Bomber, what do you think? 1 through 10 on this scale for funny?
Sure. I don't know. 4.
Throw it out. Yeah, I'm saying.
It's amusing, I guess.
So I see Robert saying a 4 out there. So we got a 4 out of 10 out there. Okay.
All right.
Let's go to the next one here.
All right. Very good.
All right, here we're in the weird tweet category here. So this one was thrown out today, but hey, Dave, AZ's in the house here. I just thought this thing is really off the wall weird. So this is speaking really. When are we going to get some action here in this realignment? Is this going to happen from the Pac-12 and the Big 12? Is our teams going to jump and stuff? And honestly, when I saw this, I was like, "What the heck is that little dragon?" I don't know what's going on here. It's just straight weird. So I'm thinking, like, on the weird scale, this has got to be a 9 out of 10. We got 4 and 5s in the house here. Looks like a Robert saying a 2. So this is the weird category, not just funny, guys. So how weird is this tweet?
Weird. I think it's self-evident, right? Yeah. And everybody's patient and impatient. Yeah, that's definitely weird. I think you're right there. Dave says it's a 5, and Blake is a 5.6. So Robert had a 2. So I think it's somewhere in the middle.
We got somewhere in the middle. Okay. All right.
Let's talk about Bob Huggins really quick. Did you see that note?
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't dig too far into it. It looks like there was Bob Huggins got a DUI, right?
Yeah. Then, again, one of it. He's had several now.
So
yeah,
that's unfortunate. And there's talk right now if retaining him, right, is in the cards. That's really the conversation point, right?
I think at the end of the day, he's going to end up getting fired. There's no way they redid his contract. recently, and I think that there's really going to be nothing there to hold him. It's sad, but because he's a great.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's wild, and yeah, it's difficult if you're in the administration over at West Virginia. I mean, really, what do you do about that? Huggins is on the court a great coach, right? Remember when he was coaching K State and back in the Cincinnati days? I mean, he's always been a good coach everywhere. His defense is renowned and everything, but I mean, you've got to be clean off the field too, right? You have to. And if you're getting that type of stuff, it's difficult to retain. So I can see the dilemma going on with that. Okay. All right. Here's just we're back in the weird. Okay. So, all right. So this is from our guy Greg Swaim and the Swaim Show here. So here's so everyone can read here the daily contest. Who said the following? The Pac-12 media deal will be much larger than either the ACC or Big 12. Mom, bring the toilet paper down here. I'm busy and need the toilet paper now, Mom. Big 12 people are so mean to me. So, I mean, we got that tweet, and then you got to scroll up, okay? I mean, like, I think that Greg would just think this is funny too, but Jazzy Utes a great follow in the Ute community and stuff, and I think that he was just looking at this, just laughing to himself, saying, this is wild. It's out there, man. So I got to give this one a pretty good score. I'll say it's an 8. We got 10s in the house here. We got a 7 in the house. I think that was a good one, a popular one. Okay.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, my sound disappeared, so I'm listening to you on my speakers for some reason.
Oh, that's fine.
Anyway. It's fine as long as it works.
You guys, I'll be honest. This has to be one of the weirdest tweets I've ever seen. When I saw this, Bearcat Matt, kudos to him. He is awesome. He's awesome. He throws a lot of good stuff out there, a lot of funny stuff. We've shown his stuff on the show before. But when I see these pictures, I have no idea what he's really talking about. So there's like a trail here, Bomber. So if you want to show like this first illustration that scroll down, I think there's more. He has got more on this thread somewhere and stuff. It's like every team in the Big 12. You know what? You scroll up, it doesn't look like it pulled it through. But this is just a little illustration. Yeah, like so Robert's saying this is a full-on 10. Yeah. Oh man. What do you think, Bomber? What would you rate that?
I have 4. I think all of these are weird. If we're grading levels of weird, I guess we could say it's probably vanilla, but yeah, I think they're definitely all odd.
Yeah, they're definitely all odd. Okay, let's jump to the next one.
Okay, let's see here.
All right, here's another Bearcat Matt tweet here. So Bearcat Matt in the Cincinnati land was saying that he reached out to ChatGPT and OpenAI, artificial intelligence, to develop a uniform for UCF. And this is the illustration that came out. So I'll throw this in the funny category. I would give this a 5.
There's some artistic components in that. I'll say a 6. I posted again the link if you want to join the show. Please, just all you have to do is click on that, and we'll bring you right in.
Yeah, right, you know what? Hey, one thing, Bomber. It looks like Robert, and then also I see Clint mentioning too the Bob Huggins thing. Why don't you guys call in and let's talk about that? That's on people's minds right now. I think that deserves some more attention here. So
yeah, he has a history. I mean, I think he had a thing with a gun once. Anyways, I could be having that wrong, but I know that he's got a really, tortured history. So nobody wishes him ill. Certainly he's got a lot of people in his corner, but he's definitely got some problems.
Yeah, it looks like Mark Few too in the comments. Mark Few's had some run-ins too, according to some folks. So yeah, it's not just Huggins. It's other good coaches too. And it looks like it's definitely an issue, something to talk about.
All right, Robert, yeah. There he is.
What's up, Robert?
Hey, Robert. So we're holding our comments to 3 or 4 minutes. So go ahead.
Yeah, with the Bob Huggins thing, I knew one thing about it because when Coos reported it, he was pretty much was in Pennsylvania, which that's my expertise is because I was from Pennsylvania. If he has a history of alcohol things and everything, and also if the vehicle has an open container of law, he can be looking at some major jail time for that.
Yeah. So
Right.
so Robert, so he was pulled over for DUI. Did he hit anything? He did.
I did not know.
Talk a little more about that.
I didn't know about hitting anything, but I knew by what Coos reported it was DUI in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm like, if he has a history of it, any history of it, they are going to throw a lot on him because of the past history.
Right.
It doesn't matter what state it is in because they don't play for that.
So Robert, what's the stance like? So in Pennsylvania, what's the talk over there and stuff? I mean, obviously when you're dealing with something like this, it's a repeat cause. I mean, it's a cause for concern.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any pulse
it is a major
in the fan base or even like in the Pennsylvania, in those communities? What's the thought about this, about retaining Huggins?
I wouldn't say, I don't say the reaction, but I can tell you from being raised there, I can tell you how they react towards DUIs and things like that.
Yeah.
And they have a pretty much close to zero tolerance on that.
Yeah.
Right. As it should
especially
be,
if Huggins had an open container of alcohol in his vehicle, they will throw the book at him on that.
Well,
automatically.
We don't want any
it's against the law
drivers on the road
to have alcohol in your vehicle.
Robert, we don't. Yes. Nobody who's drunk should be on the road.
I know about that.
Yeah, it should be zero tolerance, right? So, now whether he gets fired,
I agree.
I don't know, but.
I mean, and
Pennsylvania has that zero tolerance on policy.
Right.
Yeah, but who knows? He might be in there for a month or two in jail for that. You never know. They don't play with that.
Like Huggins is the kind of guy that might be getting out a little earlier than most folks. I mean, just based on experience with this type of stuff. I mean,
definitely. Yeah,
seeing it, I'm not sure that Huggins is probably going to be out of jail if he is in jail right now. But the bigger question is what to do now for the program. Is it even acceptable to retain him given this information?
It will be extremely tough, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Wade Coos is saying he's been on a short leash, the way Coos said and everything. So I'd say I would agree with Coos. He might end up getting fired from Coos' corner.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him about this. He's actually shocked how much I know Pennsylvania law on that.
At the very least, they can sit him down, right? They can suspend him until further information comes.
So we've got some comments there saying, it's sad to see him potentially lose his job over this. Yeah, you can pull that comment up too.
Yeah, it really is. I don't think anybody should be piling on at this point.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's an impossible situation. It's not good.
Robert,
I was very concerned when I read that from Coos. I'm like, damn.
Robert, you got 90 seconds. What do you think about SDSU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear me, Robert?
Oh, that's just a clown show waiting to happen. I'm just waiting for Yeah, I heard you, Boomer. I'm just waiting for the Mountain West to say, no, your permission of extension is denied. To see this really get fun.
Well, we'll find out soon, I think.
You think they're in trouble, Robert?
Watch the first come on then.
Yeah, I think that San Diego State's going to be okay. Personally, I think it was a big boy move.
They're going to be okay.
I still don't get that big boy move. What does that even mean?
That means that somebody that has a lot of guts. And San Diego State has a lot of guts. I mean, that's what I'm talking about here. I mean, that's so high risk. There's this
the guts
downside to me. What's the downside? A couple $1 million when you're talking about hundreds of $1 million over 5 years. You take that risk, guys.
Well, it wouldn't be hundreds of millions for them.
It could be.
No, even if they sign tomorrow, it's going to be at a half share. It'll be something like 20 or less. It's not hundreds of millions.
If it's a long-term contract, it could be. mean, we're talking about the Pac teams all getting, $25 to $30 million a year, right? Per year. They're getting 5, 6 in the Mountain West right now. So, I mean, it's
would it be with Apple or what? That's the
Right.
question. Apple's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Robert. Appreciate you joining. It's good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert.
We'll see you later.
I would have hopped on last time, but my back was bothering me. Yep. See you later.
It's quite all right. We'll see you later. Bye.
So yeah, that's San
All
Diego.
right.
That's what I keep saying. Like, I think it's a great move by San Diego State.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have burned up. Yeah. But
what is the downside?
I don't see much downside. Losing a couple $1 million because the Mountain West is mad and they're going to squawk and then they're going to sign.
No.
back
The
home.
downside is nobody takes them.
You don't think the Mountain West would take them back?
No, I didn't say they wouldn't take them back. The difference is they're hanging out there right now. If they end up giving the letter and then nobody picks them up, Big 12 or Pac-12 doesn't get them, there's a distinct possibility that the Mountain West makes them pay a fine to come back in, and that at the very least they're back at the bottom of the totem pole in that league. So, I mean, there's a lot of downside. It's not just everything is upside. I'm just trying to.
I know you're offering the different perspective. I just don't see it that way, Bomber. I really
don't. That's cool. We can disagree. I'm all right with that. Doesn't bother me. If you want to join the show, I'm going to post the link again. Please just click on it. It'll take you right to us, and we'll get you on.
Yeah, that was good that Robert provided the insight on the DUI and like the severity in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Does that have something to do with this too?
All right, let's move to the next one. You brought this one up.
All right, this is fun. This is funny. We got to give the context here, though. Okay, so Florida lost a recruit. So someone threw up and created an illustration here for the Gator, the new Gator with the hand over face here. So I just like this, a little whimsy, playful. So yeah, this is in the funny category. So throw that out 1 through 10. Funny category here. I'm going to give that one a 5.
I like that one. I think I could do 7 on this one. Yeah.
You're going to get a 7? Yeah. There we go. Got a smile out of you, Bomber.
Yeah, that one's good. I like it. It's funny.
So everybody, how you play the game in the comments, just put a 1 through 10 on these things. We want to see what you guys think here with these.
For those just joining the show, Wild Utes trying to get everybody's temperature on some of these tweets that have gone out and over the last several days, and he wants to know if you guys think they're funny or not. Basically,
that's exactly.
Cougar Track says 6.
We got a 6 here. So hey, we got some momentum on this one.
A little bit. I think people needed to warm up a little bit.
So hey, I'm thinking that when Utah plays Florida. Game 1 and stuff, I might be pulling this bad boy out for some smack talk here. This looks like a good one.
It'll be even better if you actually beat them.
Yeah. Oh, this is a popular. We got a 10 and a 7 here. So yeah.
So I'm opening this up to people who have just joined, which we really appreciate you joining us on the Holy Rivals today. A couple things. If you want your note to definitely be read, you can do a super chat. And we'll make sure that gets to the top of the line. And also, we really we feel like this is a show that we want to hear from you guys. So intermittently, I'm posting our link to join the show. Feel free to do that. And we're letting you talk for 3 or 4 minutes. So definitely feel free to do that. We want to get more from you guys and less from us.
Absolutely. So T-Duck says, what tweets here? So yeah, we're playing the crazy tweet game today. And stuff just, there's been a lot of heaviness with realignment, over the last couple of weeks and stuff. And like, hey, we just wanted to have some fun on the show.
Absolutely.
And so this is a simple thing, guys. We're going to show a picture, a tweet, and it based on a category. This is a funny category. You throw 1 through 10 up if you think it's funny or not. Just want to see what you think here. So we'll move on to the next one here. There's a couple different categories, so we'll see what the next one is.
Really quick, if you guys have notes about San Diego State or UConn or any of the other realignment stuff, or for that matter, BYU, Utah, or the Holy War, please leave your note and comment, and we'll definitely highlight that for the show. All right, you want to do the next one? Let's see what we got here.
Yeah. So this one's funny here. This one's Josh Pate threw this out and stuff. He's like, hey, where is football? Right? Football's weeks and weeks away. So I saw this. I thought this was kind of fun one. I'll throw out a 3 on this one.
3. Yeah, I think it's, everybody's anxious for football to get started. So it's nice to see some positive stuff, I think. Let's see. Let's go to the next one here. This is one everybody, I think, unless is Sergeant Pickles on, because he probably might not like this one. I don't see Sergeant Pickles hasn't left any notes, so you're welcome to open this up to the group.
Okay, we're in the funny category here, and this is Puddles, Twitter name Puddles and stuff. He's a Duck fan. He's going after Washington. Oh man, yeah. So this is the funny category. I like it though here. So throwing some shade, little funniness at Washington. So I got to give this one. Yeah, I'll give this one an 8.
An 8. Wow.
I like it. I like that. You know what? For me, is when you throw like the logos over someone's face.
Okay. All right.
That gets me, man.
I'm learning more and more about you every week, Ute. So
that's how you get me.
I'm a UW guy, so I don't know. I can appreciate it. I can do a 7 on it.
So throw it out there. We want to see your comments.
Blake says 6.
We got a
Robert says UW needs some help, so not sure what that vote is, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure we're getting any other votes, but I think it's in that mid range for sure.
Yeah,
Cougar Track says 6.
I think that's the consensus here.
We got a note here. G Ford says George Kliavkov puts SDSU in a really tough, I'm sure this is what you meant, spot, and I could not agree more. But you thinks that they're being brave, so I guess you can make up your own mind.
I don't see the downside. It's just
okay.
All right, we're talking a couple $1,000,000, really, to try to go all in to get into the Pac or the Big 12. I just think that's worth the risk. I think getting left behind and not being in a P5 right now, you do whatever it takes to get into that. You extend anything, you claw anything, you make anything happen, and that's what I'd be doing. Honestly, that's what I'd be doing. So that's how I see it.
I can appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's bring the next one up since we don't have any comments or questions.
All right, here. So here we're not in the funny category. This one is kudos and stuff because we're going to give our Oregon State guys some love here. So talking about bringing Tulane into the Pac-12 conference if the Pac-12 expands and stuff. So I thought this was awesome. This is the green wave, man. Look at that.
Yeah, no, that's a cool graphic. I really like that one.
So in that category, I'll give that. I like it. I'll give it a 7.5.
Very good. I think, yeah, I do.
Kudos, throwing it out there.
Easily do an 8 on that.
Okay, yeah, it's just it's smooth, huh? Relaxing, the green wave.
Yeah, see, this actually takes some effort. Some of these other ones we've seen don't seem like they take a ton of effort to me. 7s. We're getting 7s. Oh, wait, Robert says a 4.
Robert throwing the 4 out. We got David throwing a 7 out.
Yeah. Real quick shout out to Mr. Monkey and Blake and Cougar Tracks and G Ford, all you guys that have joined. Dave from Arizona, love to have you guys here. And James Hester's in the house. Hey, James.
What's up, James?
All right, you guys have more questions, please put them in.
Hey guys, and call in, please. We want to talk about what's on your mind here.
Right, absolutely we do. Let me post that link again. And all you got to do is click on it. It's not hard to do. Doesn't even require a dial tone.
Yep.
Let's go to our next one here. What's this? Big Game Boomer loves Kansas.
Hey, so Big Game Boomer, we got to give Big Game Boomer. So for the credit here, this is a kudos category here. So Big Game Boomer has really been throwing some shade at KU. He's loving on K-State. So Big Game Boomer throwing some love to the Jayhawks by putting up a plush over here. So I thought that was kind of cool in the kudos category and stuff, especially for Big Game, who's been really throwing a lot of shade on the other game. So I'll give that a 6.
I think it's really good. I think it's what it shows is that he's always on the ball. Wherever he goes, Boomer's always looking to come up with something for his posts.
I got it. Okay. I wasn't planning on this, but let's talk about Big Game Boomer for a second.
Okay.
You mind?
Okay.
Because a Big Game Boomer seems like a notorious Utah hater.
Okay.
He seems like he really, is in league with BYU. And I know that last year, Big Game Boomer went on a bunch of BYU shows and everything, right, before the season. And he was really giving the Cougars a lot of love and kind of throwing some shade out to the Utes and stuff. So how do you see that? Is that how you see the same thing? Is he just
I don't know who he's affiliated with. I know that
Yeah.
he's been very pro BYU since they were announced to the Big 12. I don't know if he's a closet BYU guy,
Yeah.
but I don't even really think about any of that. He's had some negative things to say about BYU as well. I don't take any of that personally. It's just I really appreciate how much effort he puts into his tweet.
gosh? How much digging does he have to do? Seriously, like
It's insane. His level. It's pretty impressive actually.
so this
Uh,
Jayhawk is popular. Holy
yeah,
smokes.
Mr. Monkey says 10 for the
No,
Jayhawk.
not the 10. For the Jayhawk.
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Monkey,
right.
you're a Jayhawk, aren't you? Yeah, it's got to be, right?
All right. To join the show, just click on the link in our comment section. It's the StreamYard link, and I'll get you right on. Let's see. I had something I wanted to bring up yesterday, and I couldn't find this link for some reason, but yesterday there was this note from Jeff Fuller that I wanted to circle back on that are outstanding questions that SDSU needs to really address and recognize. One of them is the 1 extra month grace period. So they're asking for July 31st for their last minute to possibly declare they're leaving the Mountain West. They want an openness to negotiate the exit fee with the Mountain West Conference. Just straight out black white, do you see any reason why the Mountain West would want to negotiate that down?
No way.
Yeah, I don't
No
think
chance.
so either. No, I agree.
Why in the world would they want to do that? I mean, that's
They don't need to help. They need to help themselves. They don't need to be
Absolutely.
helping San Diego State.
I
And
think that's
then
going to get ugly. This is going to get ugly with the Mountain West and San Diego State.
I agree. In fact, it could easily end up in court. And then the last thing is pay their exit fee over 4 years by 2024. And I saw a funny comment. Somebody wants to, or they want to put their leave out on their credit card. They want to defer payments to get that $17 million in the house.
Man, yeah. I just don't think any of that's going to work. I know that that's what they want.
Right.
We're going to have to pay the piper.
I agree. So let me catch up to where we were at on our last. We've got a couple comments here. And we've got Blake is joining us. We'll get to the comments after we add Blake. Hello, Blake.
Hey, what's up, Blake?
Hey,
Thanks for joining.
dude, I've never come on a show ever in my life.
Hey, you're totally welcome.
We're very mean. We're very mean. Don't make you mad. He tends to throw a tantrum.
I've had so much free time lately. I've been watching all these YouTube shows.
Right. So what's on your mind today? Blake.
Not much. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had the other screen going on too. Yeah, man. Geez, the San Diego State thing is crazy. You know, I don't think any of the Pac-12, I don't think they really have ESPN and Fox and Apple, Amazon, all these players. I don't think they have any real hard, definitive agreements. I don't think any of the major broadcast players want to put those numbers on any sort of term sheets because I think they're pretty aware that there's going to be some teams jump ship. And I mean, I've owned and ran businesses many times. You don't start throwing numbers down on paper and making offer sheets when you're making an offer and a product is in flux. Yeah. And so I think Kliavkoff and them, they've been trying to just steady the waters, you know, show that they're united to try and get some of these media partners involved. And I just don't think any of the media partners really believe that they're on steady waters. I think they're just trying to buy time. I think it's inevitable that Colorado and them are going to jump. I think San Diego is probably going to join the pack, but they throw that they need a little bit more time. I just don't understand what's taken Colorado so long to jump. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a lot of business that has to be taken care of. I'm sure they're probably meeting with a lot of their academic side of things to figure out, okay, we're going to leave, what all are we going to need to get appropriated and set up for you to join this new conference? There's probably a lot of stuff that really goes into play with that stuff. So I'm sure it takes a while, but I just don't understand the four corner schools, why they seem to think the Big 12 is a step down. I could see how it's a lateral move, but if you're four corner schools and you're all AAU and you're super educated and very smart and great at athletics, well, that would be four amazing schools going together to a conference where there's already, a couple of AAU schools, good programs. A third of a good conference would be going to another conference. So I just don't see how they think this is like a step down. Where else are you going to go? There's nowhere else to go. It's adapt or die. So
I think you answered your own question. Why isn't Colorado moving? And I think that they're trying to get the other four corner schools with them, go with them. And for the reason that you just said, because it brings the quality, AAU quality to the Big 12. I mean, just think about if all four corner schools go together.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to get four
I think that's why Colorado's waiting. I think it's recruiting. That's how I see it.
AAU schools would be tremendous to get. I just whenever I think about it, I just go, why don't the four corner schools just look at that and think, us four going in unison, we would be making not only Big 12 a good conference, but a great conference. You know what I mean? So, and they just seem to not be on board with that mindset, which I just find odd. But
so
regarding the San Diego, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, who's your school in conference?
I'm a Jayhawk.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm super thrilled with the new four schools coming in. I'm always obviously KU, but then I support really everybody in the Big 12. If there's a Big 12 game on, I'm watching it. So
right.
I like all of them to do well. I think I believe in the Yormark vision for sure. Basketball, they say it's only about 20 to 25% of the money streams, but it's inevitable. Sports is taking over. Everybody wants to get their hands in it. I think there's a lot more money in basketball than people are thinking. And there has been a lot of rumors recently that the NCAA and the March Madness thing is going to crumble at some point. And that's a ton of money. So it only makes sense for the Big 12 to really focus on the basketball side of things right now. Of course, football is always, paramount, but we're never going to be number one in football. So, to be third place in football and first in basketball, I think that's really the only logical move you have to make. If you're not number one in basketball, no argument period, you're doing yourself as a conference a very serious disservice, because when you think about all the money that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to make, they're going to start beefing up their basketball programs. You've already seen it with the SEC. They're starting to get good. What all it's going to take is 2 or 3, seasons of the Big Ten and the SEC pulling in those $70, $80 million figures. Their basketball programs are going to get good real quick with all that extra money. So if Big 12 does not position themselves as the bona fide, untouchable, power basketball league, you would be an idiot to not try and full force that. So UConn, I'm all on board with the UConn thing. It helps with the West Virginia and the travel pods. Yep. Tim Fitzgerald or whatever, he did a video on that, I think yesterday or the day before, basically showing the pod systems. We got to take care of our East Coast things. I don't want UCF feeling like they're out there on an island. I'm even open-minded to the idea of Memphis. I know it's what you guys consider maybe a G5 or whatever. I mean, dude, these programs are good programs. They just haven't been on – there's only been so much room in these conferences because of the Texas and Oklahoma and them not wanting to add more teams. But, I mean, BYU, they've been an independent, team. I'm thrilled to have BYU. Utah would be amazing to have. We need to get some power players in there, and there's probably, I consider, about 10 left in the field right now.
Who are your top four? Who are the dream schools for the Big 12? Who are your top
My dream schools right now would be not in any specific order, but like UConn, just to help with the East Coast. I would prefer those four corners just because I think they're a good it's a good squad. I think all four would be happy if the other three, came along. So Arizona, they'll have their rival with Arizona State. BYU will have their rival with Utah. which I think we need to get some more rivals in there. Losing the Texas-Oklahoma thing, I think hurts us. So having the Holy War, I think would do really well for the conference. And then as far as Colorado goes, honestly, they've always been my least favorite, but I like the market. But if it helps with the other 3 corner schools to come and the fact that they used to be a Big 12 member, I'm open to that. But I would almost prefer, if I was switching out Colorado, I'd almost prefer a team like Memphis just to help a little bit more on that Eastern Coast side to help with the UCF travel and stuff like that. But Colorado, I get it. They got a good market there. Deion's there.
I got to ask you guys this, and with Deion, I don't know if you guys saw what was reported today, but I guess
he might lose his foot.
You guys, is that a big thing that's developing here?
Well, he's had feet problems.
Yeah,
for a while. He had some of his toes amputated, 2 of them.
Yeah, he's already lost several of his digits. So
yeah,
and they
tried
to do his whole leg a year and a half ago.
Foot problems for quite some time, but
yeah, he got a staph infection from a minor surgery, and it almost cost him his leg right off. Now there's a good chance that he could lose it anyway. But you know what? I wouldn't hold him down at all.
Yeah.
He's gonna get a fake leg.
I'm curious what you guys think about this. See, I've met Deion. I've actually done some stuff in the past with him, and I know some of his family or whatever. And he is an ultra leader and competitive guy.
Right.
And he really, from what I know through people that know him and what, he's super loyal too. I mean, he's a diehard loyal guy. I mean, anyone that really knows Deion, like, if he's friends with you and he cares about you, he's there for you. And he came through for me on some stuff way back in the day. I won't get into that, but he's a good dude. And
he showed you loyalty personally, then Blake. He showed you.
No, I don't talk. I don't know. I don't claim to know him like that. I don't talk on that. But actors and people that I work with and have worked with in the past, they know him, and I know him true to his word, super loyal. Like I said, I've worked in some entertainment industries, and I've worked directly with him before, so I know that to be true. But the point being is there's always these conversations that he's going to leave after 2-3 seasons. He's all about brand, prime time, and Colorado. I don't see why that's not a great destination spot for him long term. The black and gold, it looks good on him. He's got his kids over there. He's basically bringing a dumpster fire all the way to the top. I mean, if they win and they provide him the things that he needs and he wants, I don't see why he would want to jump ship and have to rebuild that all over again. I mean, if he really gets that Colorado thing going and it's, not a dumpster fire, which I have no reason to believe it will be, I think he's going to probably bring that program to the very top. I mean, it would almost be impossible when you're getting tons of 4- and 5-star guys like he'll get. I mean, you give him 2 draft classes and they are going to be there competing. But my thing is I don't see why that's not a long-term play for him. I mean, if he's bringing, Colorado to the promised land, he's got that to say, for his career, like, yeah, I took basically one of the worst college programs ever and made him a contender. Why would you want to leave that and then go do it again 3 years later?
I guarantee
that seems like a lot of work. And he just did that at Jackson State. Like, he brought that from the grave up. Who wants to do that 3 times in a row within a 6-year period? That's
Blake. The reason is because he thinks he's better than everybody else, and he wants to prove it. And I can see him going to Florida State. I could see him going to Auburn. It's not so much. He has nothing except for this is his current job in Colorado. He might be a loyal guy, but he's all about the bling and his own brand.
Yeah, he's
selling that at Colorado is not how you do it.
Well, plus, how are they going to compete financially, guys?
Long term.
I mean, if they don't, God, if I'm the president of one of these universities, San Diego State. I don't see it. That's the thing. I don't know the inner workings. Has San Diego State been offered by Big 12 ever? I mean, if I would have been the leader of San Diego State and I got an offer from the Big 12 9 months ago, I wouldn't even have balked. I would have signed that deal. So,
yeah, but that's not. You got to realize though, they don't want the Big 12 though.
Yeah,
they've always wanted to be in the Pac-12, and they're willing to cut off their nose.
Well, that's why I think San Diego State. Some of these ADs and presidents, man. They're not very tactful. They are not very good at this. mistakes.
They're
And
making.
you can tell. I mean, just with
Right.
some of the quotes and the tweets and stuff that some of these, even at Utah and the AD department there, Arizona State, I mean, some of them are just clearly buffoons. I mean, when you're talking down to other conferences and other teams and, you know, saying, why would we ever want to go to that Lubbock conference and stuff like that, you're basically putting a hole in maybe potentially the only life raft that you have. And I'm just thinking, I can't believe an AD would say that at a major university or a president or, you know, whatever. I mean, there's you guys said in your last show with Swaim and them, like, there's probably only going to be about 60 teams that are really in the main storyline come here in a few years. And there's a lot of teams right there on that 65, 70 cusp that they're probably not going to be on the big channels. The only way I see it changing is if another major TV player comes into the game. I mean, you only got the ESPN and the Fox and the CBS and stuff like that, NBC. It's almost like you need one more major linear cable network, you know, to start carrying some of these.
It's the CW and Ion channel.
I mean, and I guess that's, you know.
All right, we got to go.
Guys,
I appreciate it, Blake. That's a good place to rip off the Band-Aid and just put the dagger into Ute's heart right there. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, man. You guys have a good day.
Okay, we'll have you again soon. Bye-bye. I know that was
Deion's loyalty. That's the first time I've heard that. That is fascinating.
It depends. I think his point was if he values you as much as you value him, the loyalty's there. But I think he looks at these conference or these college football teams as transactional. I think loyalty is as loyalty does. He knows that. The way he came up at Florida State and San Francisco and Atlanta and Dallas, he knows what he's doing. So anyway, maybe not. We'll have to see. We did have a couple comments come in here while we were talking with Blake. And by the way, let me post the link again if you want to join the show really quick while I do this. You want to take that really quick?
I really would like somebody to call in to tell me, cross-check my thinking here, because I'm of the thought process that a lot of casual fans won't pay additional for an Apple subscription for like Pac-12 content. So
that's a good question.
Pay the Apple subscription and more for Pac-12 if you're not a diehard Pac fan. I know we've got a lot of Big 12 fans that tune in. Right. I'm very curious on if people that love football are going to do that, because I have my doubts, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we've asked. Let's see what people say. If you don't want to call in, certainly you can just leave a comment and let us know what you think about that. It is subscriptions. We're starting to get to a point where there's too many subscriptions. Couple things. Please subscribe to the show and turn on your notifications. Also follow us both on Twitter, active on Twitter, and we really enjoy doing this and bringing this content to you guys. It's something that Ute and I both feel really strongly about, and we really want to do more of this with you guys. Cougar Track says, what happens with SDSU playing musical chairs and the music stops? I asked you that question the first time we spoke. What's your answer now?
They lick their wounds and they apologize to the Mountain West and kiss and make up and pay a couple $1 million.
Okay,
that's it.
Fair enough.
Do you guys think that the Mountain West will not take them back? That's the question that I would counter back. Do you think that the Mountain West would say, no, we're not going to take you back? They're too valuable. Mountain West needs them too. So that's what would happen. I just think that's why it's low risk. Because I don't know. Maybe they don't go back to the Mountain West. Maybe they go to the AAC. Or maybe that'd be better for them, right?
I almost think I was thinking about that last night. I think the AAC makes $3 million more on their media deal. You bring in San Diego State, maybe even their media deal goes up $1 million or $2 million. Who knows? But I could easily see them and this is actually, if we come full circle, now that I think about it, maybe that's the reason they do this letter, and they don't care if they piss off the Mountain West. Because at the end of the day, they've already spoken to the AAC, and they're like, man, if this falls through and we don't get into P5, take us. That actually could have happened. That conversation could have happened.
Isn't the closest AAC team SMU?
It is.
Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yeah. But
You-
maybe the AAC's been playing for years to steal Mountain West schools. Maybe now's the time for them to get Boise State.
Yeah.
Maybe now's the time for them to be Fresno State. And now the AAC is turning into the coast to coast conference that the Big 12 is eventually going to be. And as you and I are just talking about this now, I could easily see that is the bigger play. Is
Definitely.
basically they told them, will you take us? They would have a conversation in secret and say, would you take us if this falls through? And if it does fall through, who else do you think might go from the Mountain West Conference? I could easily see that happening.
Well, there's another avenue right there. So you're looking at the Pac, the Big 12, and then America.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. C. John says, now if the Four Corner and UConn come, Four Corner schools and UConn come, are they covered by Fox and ESPN? They would be. Yeah.
Mhm.
They would just sign up to the Big 12 contract that was renegotiated. And yes, they will be definitely somebody that they would absolutely be covered by Fox and ESPN. All right, we've got Larry Pilgrim with us today. How you
What's
doing,
up,
Larry?
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing
It's
well.
open mic, brother. What do you want to tell us?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the Apple thing.
Okay.
And so,
Sure.
like you were talking about, yeah, I think there's some fans that won't. But if you're a Utah fan and you have an Apple product,
Right.
how much do you spend on a shirt? You know what I mean?
Right.
I spent $800 on a pair of tickets to go to the Gators game. So,
Of course.
I mean, buying a Apple subscription, which I don't know. My biggest thing is I don't think it's so much about Apple trying to just go in on the Pac-12. I think Apple is different than Amazon. Amazon's dabbling. Amazon's, I'm going to take a little of this and I'm going to take they're trying to slowly build. I
Mhm.
think Apple's already got their MLS package.
Right.
I think they're trying to go full on in and provide sports all around. For me, I don't think Apple's, trying to do this. How many MLS people might watch Pac-12?
Right.
So I think they're trying to stack their shelves with product
I
rather
think the
than
thought
having
is
a convenience store. They're trying to build a grocery store.
right. And I think you're probably right. That is their biggest big picture sort of view. The concern is, and this is where the Apple subscriptions that you was talking about comes in, is that they're going to lose the casual fan. You're going to
Oh,
lose
yeah.
the guy who's going from channel to channel,
Yeah.
which I do every Saturday and Sunday. I'll go through all the channels, try to find a game. If BYU or somebody I care about isn't playing, and I'll just find the next best game. That's what you'll lose. It's not that people aren't willing to pay the $10 or whatever the subscription fee might be, or that they're not putting Apple TV with Pac-12 coverage out as a promotion to new phones. I don't think anybody that questions that. I think the biggest concern is, and this is where that exposure words comes in, is you're going to lose the casual fan. And I already think that the Pac-12 is behind the 8 ball. They already don't have the casual fan because they're late windows. So I think it has to be a concern.
Hey, Larry, let's just
Yeah.
do some pro and con analysis with Apple. Okay. Like, let's just get real about this. Like, what are the pros with going with Apple for the Pac? Okay. Just throw out a couple
Right.
of pros. Like, what do you think are the pros here? What's the benefit for the Pac?
Really, the only benefit's the money.
Mm.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
what's the con? Lay out the cons then. So exposure, like we're talking about the visibility with the
The
cash-
con would be the casual and the recruiting.
Right.
So I think those are the two cons.
What do you think would be what's going to happen to our program in 5 years if we take this deal? Given what you just said, really, what do you think is going to happen? Or do you think that we're going to fall off, remain, grow as a University of Utah program?
No, I think in 5 years, I have a feeling that the way we view sports is going to be a little different. Because I honestly believe, and like I was talking about, come 2024, exposure is going to be an issue for the Big 12, the ACC, and the Pac-12 altogether come 2030. I mean, if you stack just 2 more teams in the Big Ten or SEC, why would ESPN or Fox sign anything with anybody else? You've got all your shelves are full.
Mm-hmm.
So I went last night and I looked at the Nielsen ratings from 2017, and you would not believe there was a Stanford game on, and Utah was ranked about the same. Stanford was about the same. They lost over 1 million viewers. The time slot was 8 p.m. Same game. That game on ESPN was on ESPN. It was on ESPN2, and it was on FS1. It was embarrassing, like the numbers. So it's really about the channel you're on as far as casuals, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So I don't see us in 5 years. I think everything's going to be different with the playoff setup as well.
Do you think that, okay, let me ask you, this is going to be very clear. Okay. Do you think that the Utes, I'm looking at the 5+ year horizon, do you think under the Apple contract that we're talking about, say that happens, maybe with the CW, you see the Utes being a more successful program in 5+ years under that scenario, or moving to the Big 12 with the exposure, with the rivalry, everything the Big 12 has to offer athletically in football? What one's going to benefit the Utes more? What's a more like a realistic option? Because that's what I want.
Right.
As a season ticket holder, as someone that loves this program, that's when I go to the university. I go for tailgating. I go for the games. I watch every game. I care about the long-term success. Guys, I want to win a national championship. Yeah, that's crazy. But I do. And I want to invest my resources to try to help that one day and stuff. And that's what I care about, the long term, right? So what do you think about that? What's going to help us get there?
I mean, biding our time for 5 years. I don't think a move to the Big 12 is super beneficial. I'm not saying it's not beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
I just think in 5 years, it's going to be a completely different landscape. And that's another issue, is the Big 12 grant of rights. That's not just tied to the media deal. Like the Pac-12, if your media deal ends, you don't have an exit fee. That doesn't matter in the Big 12.
Well, today, but in 5 years you would, because you're going to sign up to a GOR of some sort.
Well, no. So like, there's 2 different grant of rights for the Big 12. You have the conference grant of rights that you're married.
No, I understand. I'm talking about the Pac-12 now.
Okay.
To do a media deal, they're going to have to sign a grant of rights.
Yeah, and it's
no
not
media
be,
companies.
Yeah.
No media company's going to let you just come in and leave willy-nilly.
Well, Bomber.
They will, but they're not going to pay you.
The Big 12 grant of rights is like 99 years, right?
I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying a general grant of rights.
Yeah.
You will have to sign something. It's not going to be it's not going to just be an open door.
Right, which is why they're not going to get it. That's why they're having a problem. Like that's why the Big 12 got the deal.
I
Big 12 would not have the deal if Oregon would have signed on with the original grant of rights that the ESPN came and offered to the Pac-12 11 months ago or whatever it was.
That's because
that deal
they see themselves in the Big 10. That's why. It doesn't have anything to do with the Pac-12 surviving. They could care less about you guys.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is any media company is going to have a grant of rights. So just saying that the Big 12 is 99 years, we already saw it was $40 million a school for those guys to buy their way out. Any contract can be busted if you have a bigger upside. And you guys could sign a 99-year thing and leave and still make more money in 3 years. So
right. Possibly,
I don't think that really, I think that's way overblown. From a practical standpoint, what's to stop somebody from leaving? I don't think there is one.
I think right now they're looking at a 5 year, like, I think if there is a grant of rights, something gets signed, it's going to be a 5 year.
Right.
And you have to look at, in 5 years, did I make a lateral move? Because
the lateral move is with more exposure, better exposure.
For now.
But in 5 years, everybody's redoing theirs except for the ACC. You know the Big Ten's going to keep what they've got. But the ACC is going to get blown up at some point. I think 5 years is a good horizon. And the Pac-12 and the Big 12 are going to be in the same boat. They're still going to be renegotiating.
Right, which is, you're correct, Nathan, completely. And that's why I'm saying, if you move just 2 more teams from the Pac-12 to the Big 10,
right,
and you move just 2 more teams to the SEC, go, like, your exposure is going to go down. If you go look at the Nielsen ratings, there's only 24 spots on television. Right. And so do you think a Georgia, not even a great game, I mean, they're not booting those guys off just because there's a Utah TCU game? Those are not.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you.
So the issue is, in 5 years, if you moved Oregon and Washington to the Big 10, everybody's deal's coming up in 5. That everybody's going to, the ACC, the Big 12, say the ACC even does stick together.
Right. Which is
the Big 12, say, stays the same, and the Pac-12 stays the same. Right. You're going to be fighting for scraps anyway. But if you get just a couple players moved, whatever 2 conferences are left, there's not going to be any exposure.
Well, so let's talk about that. That's why I think,
opinion.
And I think you're right. I'm not disagreeing with your logic at all. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, that third, it's going to be a P3, guys. I mean, I don't see another way. There's too many good schools that are going to be hanging out there without any organization around them. I could easily see in 5 or 6 years, ESPN and Fox coming together and saying, we have no more bandwidth. We've already moved everybody in that we want, assuming some more additional Pac-12 schools go to the Big, and the ACC blows up, and so the SEC and the Big pick up those teams. There's going to be a best of the rest, right? And those teams are not going to allow themselves, the BYUs, the Utahs, the TCUs, the Oklahoma States, they're not going to allow themselves to be disenfranchised. So there's going to be a third conference. It's just a matter of how they constitute that. And I think that the schools that I just mentioned all deserve to be in that third conference, whether it's 20 teams or 24. That I don't think matters as much as who the schools are is what matters. And ESPN and Fox, if they come and say, we have no more bandwidth for you, it's going to basically tell the conferences we need to do things differently. And that's when you could basically see this structure sort of formulate and be finalized. Because I agree with you. Both Utah and BYU, no matter what conference we're in 5 years, 6 years, it is going to be a crazy Wild West. There's no doubt about it.
So, Larry, let me jump in here. So you're kind of thinking, and I understand, I think, what you're saying here. So, like, if it does move to 3 conferences, that third conference isn't going to get a lot of exposure regardless, right?
Right.
The first 2 are going to get all the exposure, and so we're all screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so the question is, if that's then how do you get in the 2, right? How do you get in the Power 2? Like,
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I mean, if that's all the case, it's going to happen. Or it is what it is. But like, then we need to do anything we can to get in the Big 10, right?
Well, how about you just have to raise your program to the highest profile as possible.
How is that possible over the next 5 to 10 years, though? Okay, that's where I'm going with this. Like, is that staying in the Pac or going to the Big 12?
But it's not a controllable. You can't write your own ticket into those conferences. So all you can do is control what's in front of you.
You can win, though, and if you get to the
yes, I'm agreeing with you.
That would be a game changer, though. I think getting the playoff might get you an invite.
Maybe. Demographics in Utah are not good for either BYU or Utah. In 10 years, we might have 4.5 million people, and the world landscape will change. But until that time, demographics in Utah and the region do not support either school being in the SEC or the Big 10. There's just not enough people.
Bomber, yeah, which is the #1 business economy.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Conferences don't care about any of that.
Come on. You live in the state.
All right, what I want to know from Larry is what's the weather like there right now?
That's right.
Probably it's around 90.
Oh, it's hot.
60%. Yeah, I was out golfing earlier today, so.
Oh, geez. Yeah, hot is not good.
It's crazy. So yeah, the Big 10, they get money for carrier fees, which I really want the streamers to get involved. That's going to be probably the thing that's going to help the conferences the most is if the streamers do get involved, because if you leave it to the big two networks, it's going to be the two big conferences.
Right.
And so that's just I'm hoping the streamers come in as well. I mean, and I'm with you. It's a gamble. It's a gamble.
I see your point too, though. Like, really, if there's no way to get exposure on linear because it's all in the P2 and the P3 is going to get left behind, then you got to get somewhere, right? Maybe.
Well,
the
in the new contract that the Big 12 signed, their contract says 70% linear.
Could that?
Right.
I mean, is that like FS? I mean, one.
Yeah.
I know it means that it's not ESPN Plus. Fox doesn't have a digital component, so you're talking FS1 and FS2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, that's
ESPNU,
better than. I don't think U counts.
It's linear. It's a linear channel. It's on cable linear.
Yeah,
In fact, I looked at the
thought
Nielsen ratings, and they actually ESPNU is on there for the Nielsen
Okay.
ratings for college.
I remember reading somewhere that ESPNU didn't count, but yeah, I'll defer to you if you've looked it up. So
If it's in their contract that they maybe don't consider ESPNU a linear, that could be. I haven't read the contract. So
and all I'm doing is reporting what I heard, which is worth
Right.
about this much anyway. So
Hey guys, the chat here is kind of blowing up with people jumping in here, providing their thoughts, and a lot of fans have jumped in and said they're not going to be paying any extra for an Apple contract, unless you're a big Pac fan or a Utah fan. I think that's fair to say. I think that like going into that, we need to understand that like the viewership for a Pac-12 game is probably not going to reach 500,000. I'm serious about that, guys. Like, how many? Like, Larry, would you agree with that? Say that we're playing Arizona State in a Pac-12 game and it's on Apple. Do you really think that we're going to get over 500 viewers on that platform if you have to pay extra for the subscription?
No, the numbers are not going to be as good.
I think they'll
For
be
sure.
better than the Pac-12 network.
The
Yeah.
Pac-12 games, here's what's sad, guys. Nobody's watching the Pac-12 anyway.
Right.
We all have this thing, and we're worried about exposure, and I don't know how to say it. If you go look at the data, the only time anybody is watching the Pac-12 is the late window game, or if it's a prime time and it's kind of stuck and you have to watch it.
Right.
Nobody is searching for Pac-12 outside the Pacific Coast.
That's true.
So I guess I've come to the terms that Big 12, ACC, SEC, Big 10 folks, they are not searching for Pac-10 games. So I don't know why we're worried about reaching people who actually are trying to avoid us. And like you said, if they have to pay, they're definitely going to avoid us. And the numbers and the data prove nobody watches the Pac-10 west or east of the Rockies unless they're basically forced to, or you have that late night game, which who doesn't know if just Uncle Phil fell asleep at 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night with that game on after the SEC game closed.
Right.
That's my so just to play off that, that's why I think the Big 12 is so beautiful for the Utes. Think about how many more views per game. Like people that actually care about football, people that want to talk about football year round, like us psychos, like seriously, those are the fans that care. Those are the fans that are going to tune in. Like if we go play at Iowa State, those fans will watch. I just think that it would boost the viewership for the Utes, and it would sustain the program. I don't know if it would lift the program because we've reached pretty high heights for who we are, right?
All I can think of is that how smart would a merge have been?
Oh god!
I think a merge would have been. We'd be talking a $50 million media deal when you include Washington and Oregon, and then Utah and Arizona State. I think those numbers, the media deal would have been around $45-50 million.
Yeah,
we're talking about an athletic conference, right? That's what we're at the end of the day. It's an athletic conference.
And you're right, Wild Dude. It really hurts to be in a conference where if ASU is good, they have really great numbers, viewership, if they're doing good.
If they're good.
But I mean, outside of Washington and Oregon, it's Washington, Oregon, Utah that have the rabid fans. Everybody else is very fair weather, and it's kind of rough. It makes it rough for us.
And I remember we had a primetime game versus ASU on ESPN this last year. It got about 1 million views, right?
Yeah.
It was in the late night spot, but we were highly ranked and everything, and we beat them down. I'm just thinking if that were a Big 12 late night game, that might have got to 2 million, maybe 2.
Oh, yeah.
And so that lifts the Utes program and our stature football wise. That's kind of why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, Larry. And so, I mean, I was a huge Pac-12 guy, and I made a switch about 3 months ago. I mean,
I'm a Pac-12 guy until we move.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
There you go. I mean,
Everybody has said that, and they're like, you know what? I think Wild Ute and Larry, if they were in the Big 12, would be the biggest Big 12. Yeah, guys.
That's right.
I'm married right now to the Pac-12, and we're going through counseling, and we're trying to get it figured out. Okay. If it doesn't get figured out and we are divorced and engaged, then I'm going to fall in love with whoever I'm supposed to be with.
Exactly.
Right.
And I've been saying that for months and months and months.
Yeah, and if the pack sits together, then we'll love the pack. We're gonna love the pack,
Larry, before you go, what is your thoughts on San Diego State and their little roll of the dice and all that fun stuff?
Brass balls.
That seems to be the prevailing opinion from all Utes.
So, brass balls. Okay. Little verbal talk, and they ran with it. So brass balls.
I think there's. We were just talking about this before you came on. I think there will be some steam around them and maybe some other schools joining the AAC. I could easily see that happening.
Yep.
We'll have to see.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Larry. Appreciate it as always.
All right. I got to email you still, Nathan.
All right. Great. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Hey, we've got Rice Man in the chat here, repping the Owls.
Where are we at? Sorry, I'm way behind.
In the chat here. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Rice. I see Clint's there, repping the Beavs.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm so behind on these guys. That's why if you subscribe, all your notes will pop up and we'll read them. And if you do a super chat, I'll read them. Otherwise, your opinions, unfortunately, are getting buried as we do.
All right, Jeff Fuller. Jeff saying some stuff about the contract. Jeff, please call in. Let's talk about this.
Let's see, Blake. Let's see. Two Master says that Blake probably no one if SDSU is the only one to leave. If anybody else leaves, I think that's probably right. Let's see. C. John says very interesting theory about SDSU. Makes a lot of sense for the AAC to push out. Obviously, their travel expenses will go up, but I think they could probably work around a lot of those things nowadays with modern travel conveniences and charter flights. As Ute has said several times, the difference in income is life-changing. So if they had P5 money, they could make up for that. If you have G5 money, but in a greater conference, your money will go up on that too. Let's see here. I am nowhere near the bottom, Ute. I apologize.
Yeah, just look through those. I'm kind of towards the bottom here too, so I'm just kind of reading along too.
Let me see if I can. I'll scroll down here. So, which comment are we talking about?
I'm just looking at Clint's comments. Who's repping the Beavs and stuff. Saying
what did Clint say?
He's just I love Beaver fans. They're so freaking loyal. Like Utes and Beavers are so close and stuff, and I want the Beavers to come along with us, whatever happens. I mean, the merger, gosh, man, it would have been. I don't know. Clint, make it happen. Get everyone to Beef territory to kind of come on. Let's make
it into. All right, Jeff, if you want to join, I just posted the link. Please click on that, and we'll let you on the show. Clint Moses says East Coast bias has been real for the Pac-12 fans. Yep. It's not just Pac-12. It's the exact same thing for BYU and even Big 12 schools. That bias is real. Let's see here. Don from Kansas says the way people consume sports and TV will continue to evolve. I think we all agree with that. What the Pac universities should be worried about now is the chronic mismanagement of their conference by their university presidents. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say that now without the TV contract. So I totally understand it. I think it's fair criticism. I think it's been I think the Pac, this has been poor leadership all around. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
Larry Scott, George K. And like the president's hired them. So you've got to they point some fingers at them too. So it's fair criticism. That all changes though if the PAC pulls a rabbit out of the hat and gets a good deal. I mean, then you can't throw that shade at him anymore. But right now, it looks like that's fair.
Larry Pilgrim, thank you for the $5 super chat. We really appreciate it, and thanks for joining the show, Larry. As always, you're very thoughtful, and we really appreciate the level of work that you put in to share not only on our shows but all the shows that you join. It's if you're not a liker of Larry Pilgrim, I don't want to know you. Let's see here. Blake Phillips says Deion wants full control is what I meant to say on the show. Okay, that's what Blake mentioned.
Yeah,
Colorado will offer him that. So control, I think. Haven't they hitched the entire university to his wagon?
Seems like it.
Man,
they're all in on Prime. Blake, thank you for providing that context, because I listened to your guys' thoughts and like your information, and like the idea of Deion being loyal was so foreign to me before that, and it's almost been a paradigm shift in my mind during the show. So loved it. Thank you for sharing that. It might change my perspective, on Colorado and Deion, honestly, just knowing something like that, the loyalty aspect. Are you there, Bomber?
I am. Yeah, sorry. My wife's more important than you are. Sorry.
Yeah, fair.
Let's see. Let's move in right along. Mr. Monkey says about the merger, Yormark was made the commissioner and not George Kliavkov. I think George Kliavkov is going to be out of work either way. Yeah. I don't know how long his deal was, but I can't imagine they keep him. Let's see here. Don in Kansas says the Kansas universities and Oklahoma State would never go to the PAC.
Now,
I don't know if that's always been the case, though. Yeah, I don't know if that's always been the case.
Yeah, I mean, that 2 years ago, right, when all that stuff with the Big 12 happened and Texas and Oklahoma left, I mean, anyone would have loved to jump to the PAC at that time, right? And that's when the PAC looked different with USC. So things changed quick. It's been a 180, and it's been a huge humble pie for all PAC fans, Ute fans. Just
absolutely,
right? That's the truth, guys.
All right, I got to go. Yeah. I got an appointment this afternoon. So everybody, thank you so much for joining. We're going to do more of these shows because we really want to hear more from you, and rather than us talking. Yeah, we go and do the work, and we'll chase down stories and try to make sure that we have content for you. But really, the show's about you guys. It always has been. It always will be. And we really appreciate you guys joining us. We made it over 30 concurrent viewers today, which is another high for this show. And we really, really want to thank everybody for joining. Please subscribe, follow us on Twitter. And if you want your comments, it's $9.99 a month, and all your comments will be highlighted, and we'll get to read them instead of me being way behind. I can't even tell you. Oh, Blake gave us a $2 tip saying Utah needs to face reality. PAC is dying. Thank you for the tip, Blake. All right, Ute, I'll let you finish this off.
Yeah, let's keep the conversation rolling. Twitter's the place for ideas. Some crazy ideas, some crazy tweets. If you guys liked what we did today with rating the tweets, let us know. If you didn't like it, let us know, because we'll just throw that out. We experiment around here. And
right.
We're learning all the time and trying to offer the best presentations for you and the best shows for you guys. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, everybody have a great rest of your afternoon. We really love you and count you as part of our family at Holy Rivals. And we have our next show will be Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be doing more of this stuff. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you later.
Go Utes.
Peace.